Hey! How you doing?
Sorry, I've a wee cheeky biscuit there.
You're all right, mate. You're all right. Well, welcome to the Ayrshire Vlogster live. I nearly said something else there. Live stream. We're joined by Zhead, as everybody will probably know, and Lockwood. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, doing fine, man. Doing fine.
Good, mate.
Good.
Good, mate, for a Sunday night. I don't know where the weekend's gone. It's just kind of been a blur.
It's been full of live streams. Been used to have been on them all.
I see there's a few live streams going on now, aren't there? Just don't know if January's the time to do it, but everybody seems to be doing it now.
Yeah.
And said you had a late one, didn't you? With the military bike.
I did. I was on with the military biker on Friday night and 4:30 Saturday morning. I had a pass out because the wife got a taxi into work, so I didn't have to get up early, which was a bonus. But I was good as well. I was hanging all day.
There's nothing worse when you just go to your bed and you can just start hearing the birds whistling.
Yeah.
And I left the Rev Bomb stream after about an hour, but you were still on it, Lockwood. You stay on to the end?
I did, aye. And I know, what's his face, Simon GTR, he continues it on. So
he does an after show.
He does a wee after show and he's still there. And I don't know, 2-3 years is enough for me. So, you know, you could stay on longer, you could stay on and do another 3 years.
Yeah.
But I've seen Megan on and just checking his channel maybe at 1 in the morning and he's still on. Or he's there on his Todd, just waiting on people coming in.
You were on Friday. See, last Friday I did the Rev Bombs stream, and Rev Bomb was like 3 sheets to the wind when by the end of it, and then we went on to Simon's, and at the end of Simon's he was almost falling asleep. Like, listen, mate, if you want to go, it's okay. I was drinking coffee. I was all right. Yes.
No, it was good. It was good. And then Rev Bomb, he was getting slagged something stupid on Friday night. So he was.
I was saying a bit of that in the chat, mate. The Lockwood love.
Aye, the Lockwood love. And then it's Rev Bomb's my da.
That was actually a pivotal moment. The best moment of that stream was when they started about him being your da. It was brilliant.
That was magic.
I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if you were on watching it when I took my hat off. So I had a pair of glasses and I took my hat off and I just sat there because that's the way he'll sit there. In fact, I had a pair of headphones on as well, double headphones with the glasses, and I just looked the double of them. Folk were just sitting there, just laughing their heads off.
That was good. That was brilliant. Well, we know we've got Kevin on and we've got Christopher on. How you doing? I'm a wee bit rusty at this, so don't expect many comments.
I was going to just messages there and just say how you doing, but I'll just tell you how you doing.
How you doing, gang? I'll just drop that in the comments.
All right, Bex, how you doing?
Hi, there's Bex in as well.
Oh, John Diehard's in. Maybe get him on. You'll have an excuse.
Andy,
all right, Andy.
By the way, see John's last video about the heart attack thing. Did you watch it?
When was that?
A
couple of days ago.
2 days ago.
I don't think I've seen that one yet.
No,
is that the one? It was marked up something about 2010. Was it that one? There's one I've not seen. I've not seen the latest one. I don't think. But no, I've not seen it.
It was a cracking story. I'll not tell you the ins and outs yet, but it's worth watching because he didn't talk about a 10-minute challenge. He didn't stop the whole way through it, and it's such a good story as well with what happened to him. So it was good. You definitely need to watch it. It was John's usual humour was through it as well, even though it was quite a serious thing he was talking about. Yep. It was a really, really good video.
Rewind 2010, he's saying.
Rewind 2010. I knew it was something like that.
I have seen it up. I've just not had time to catch it yet, John, but I will get to it, buddy.
It was good. I was totally enthralled in it, so I was, because I was like, where's he going with this? You know his sense of humour, so you're thinking something's coming at the end of it, but it turned out to be totally true. So it was definitely a good watch. John's a good guy as well, so Definitely
John's
worth
brilliant.
watching.
Yeah, definitely. He's quite, Joy, you don't realise with John, he's, well, you do realise he is really funny. I don't think he realises himself how funny he actually
it's
is.
unconscious, isn't it?
Aye, definitely.
That's
He was
what makes us so good.
He was absolutely spot on at the weekender, the camping weekender, the Racing Bikers camping weekender. With his bottle of was Grey Goose, wasn't it?
Aye, these Grey Goose.
Yeah.
He's drinking it with his pinky out and everything.
He was so funny that night as well, even before he got a drink in him. So he's just a naturally funny guy. So there's the Ponkster on as well.
Ponkster, how you doing?
Hey, Ponks, you alright, buddy? He's got that. Is it Thruxton? Is it the Triumph Thruxton? I think it is. He's got it.
Is it?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah. But it's lovely. It's a kind of greeny colour. Really nice. And I think he'd got it that week when there was the high winds, and his lock-up, the roof came in.
That's right.
And landed on the bikes.
That's right. Because the weekend that happened, I was on a live stream with him, and he basically consoled himself in a bottle. And we helped him. But end up he was all right. I think he sort of was philosophical about it. Have you ever seen the Ponkster's video where he talks about being a movie extra?
No. I get into watching them for camping. Actually.
Yeah, well, he's done a video, and he became a movie extra, and they basically did this scene. They wanted bikers, and him and a few of his mates did a scene, and they basically were that good that they asked him if they could do another couple of scenes. They ended up being in the movie. That's pretty good. Just like a sort of Scottish independent film, you know. It's like it's a good story.
It's superb. Good.
So
saying the garage is now fixed. That's spot on.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. It's got to be in it. But the good thing was he had his bike in the house. I think his woman was working away or something, or she was away somewhere, and he had it in the house. So that's ideal. I'd love to have my bikes in the house.
I'd rather have the kids in the lockup.
That's it. Yeah, definitely. That's the best place for them, to be honest.
Sometimes,
That's actually a good point. What age will you be when you get to the point where you've kicked them out the house and it's all your own? That's the kids, not the wife, by the way. The kids.
Listen, I'm not forcing any of mine to do anything. They'll leave in their own volition. One or two of them will maybe hang about a wee bit. They'll overstay their welcome, but that is what it is. I didn't leave early from my parents' house, so I would leave that up to them.
Aye.
I think it's all down to how well you treat them, isn't it? Yeah. And I mean, who would want to move out if you're getting treated well and just stay where you are, stay put? Why move?
Well, mine was the exact opposite. I've got two brothers and a sister, and every one of us was launched out at 16.
Right.
Yeah. That's always that.
16.
Yeah.
We're out. Yeah. So
that was a way of it. Yep.
What happened with me? I stayed with my mum and dad. My wee brother stayed with my mum and dad as well. My sister had already moved out because she was married. My big brother joined the police, so he moved up to Aberdeen. His fiance was in the police up there as well, so he transferred up there. So it was my wee brother and myself in the house, my mum and dad. There was a spare room downstairs, but my sister had just bought a new house, and basically it was 3 months before it was ready, and they had to move out the flat they were in. So my mum's like, Jacqueline, they're moving back in, blah blah. No, that's good. Little did I know they were getting my room. So I ended up moving in with my wife when I was still going out with, and getting to my father-in-law. It's like Louise went and said, "Is there any chance Stuart could stay?" And Sid just wouldn't allow this to happen, in years gone by. But he's like, right, okay, it's fine. But if he comes here, he will never leave. And that was, ended up getting married, and we've been together for 20 years. So that's how I get kicked out of the house.
Yeah.
Well, I met my missus when I was 18, so I am 30 odd years now. Moved in within 6 months, so aye. I should have bought a bike then. Went a different direction.
Well, see,
Yeah.
when I met my wife, when I first met her, like we kind of sort of ran about in the same circles, but I was always working when she was out, and vice versa. She was working when I was out, and I met her one night, and it was Fury Murray's in Paisley, and I was totally gassed, right? And I used to have my nipple pierced and all that, so I'm standing there, and I was like, oh, show you my nipple, and she's like, beat it. And I can always remember her, but I can't really remember her, if you know what I mean. And then it was about 2 or 3 weeks later, I met her again in Paisley, but I had my hair, you know how like I go from like having hair like that to totally shaved constantly. So I had my hair long when I first met her, and then I shaved it when I was walking down the high street, and she liked guys with shaved heads. She's like, who's that? It's her sister. And then we met. And the first thing she said to me was, I don't usually go with a guy for more than 6 weeks. I was like, all right. I said, well, let's just hang about then and enjoy ourselves. And 20 years later, we're still hanging about together.
There you go. Sorted. Nice one. Good.
So the burning question, Robert, that came out the other night was when you're doing the channel name. I know you're doing the Rabbie Burns thing first,
Aye.
aren't you?
It'll be after that, because everybody knows Lockwood as that. It's just Lockwood. So I'll be changing the channel name straight after that. Aye, and that'll be it. Then I'll start looking at getting some merchandise put together. I'll have a look at the logo and stuff, and it's a subtle change, but I think it's been one I've been talking about for a while, about doing something like that. And I think it would be a good way to do it. So I just kind of put that on there. So it'll be after Tuesday, after the premiere on Tuesday. That's when it'll get changed, and that'll be it from now on in. Aye.
Are you going to? You kind of touched. You nearly touched on the reason for it in your last video. Are you going to go down that route with it? Or are you going to keep it as it is? I know this is a touchy subject for you, so you don't.
I know it's like it'll be. If you look at the camping trip, and it was something that I shared with a couple of yous, and I think I'd like it to be that personal.
Yeah,
right.
So I think if you're in my company and I think it's the right time, then I will tell you, and I'll have a talk about it, and I'll be fine with it. But until then, aye. At the end of the day, it's a number that means a lot to me. So it's something it'll be, and I think it's just fitting that it is there.
Because when I was watching that video when you start it, I'm like, is he going to talk about it? Is he not? Yes, yeah. He's going to talk about it. And then I actually paused the video and went and got a cup of coffee and that, because I thought you were going to talk about it. And then I started the video up again. But again, another great video, and touching on a subject that's, well, as I put in the comment, where was it? Forever in your heart or something. Yeah. So I hope people didn't think that was me saying that you're forever in my heart. Or vice versa.
Oh, that's Rev.
Rev.
Yeah, there's only one Rev, Bob.
Daddy.
Pop.
That's it. That video was originally, I edited that as a 25-minute long video, because I did the Coast Road going through, what do you call it, going through Heads of Ayr. The road that we would normally take, and it takes you down past Electric Bray and then brings you out. I did a whole sequence in that, and even though I liked the physical footage, I didn't like the chat, so I basically axed all of that, and it was just a quick 10-minute.
Yeah,
just to do that. But yeah, it was.
Have you ever like see? I've had the scenario where I've done exactly the same as yourself. I filmed a vlog, and there was something wrong with the audio. It kept on cutting in and out. I think I had maybe like a loose connection in a wire or something like that. And I went out the next day and I changed all the connections and whatever and shot it again. But what I then did was, because I liked the footage, I overlaid the audio onto the old footage, and then just the way that I edited it, I edited the cuts, and it made it look as if I was talking as and when I was, but I wasn't really, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
And people wouldn't have known. I knew, because I knew what I was saying just with the way I'm moving and stuff like that. But if you're moving your head and whatever, it's like a couple of times I've done that.
I've done that as well, and I had one recently where I was kind of talking in it, and I either said something wrong, or I missed something, or it didn't come out clear. So I'm like, right, hold on a minute. So I'll go and get the helmet, and I'll put the helmet on. I'll get the camera on. I'll switch it on, and I'll say it again, and then I'll cut that section out, and I'll fit that into where it was. Just these wee quirks that you do, and you would never know.
No,
that it was done that, but I've not done it that often. You know, maybe the odd once or twice, but it's it's amazing what you can do when you're sitting there editing, isn't it?
Aye. There was a boy from Wales. I don't even know if he's still doing vlogs. The Ghost Rider. Don't know if you ever saw him. Not the Ghost Rider, not the Swedish Ghost Rider.
I was like, Wolf.
Well, the guy with the black jigsaw, that guy you're talking about.
Not him. It was this boy, basically. I think he was into gaming, and he came on, and a lot of his vlogs was basically his camera picking up the bike noise, and then he was doing a voiceover. But the way he was doing the voiceover and the energy he was putting into the voiceover, it kind of got you into the feeling that he was actually talking to you while he was on the bike, but it wasn't really.
Right.
Because they kept the pace of the way he was talking the same as what it would be if he were on the bike.
Yeah, yeah. I think you were saying, Mark, it's really hard to get the whole sync thing going when you're using the 360. To do that whole, it's a bit of a nightmare, is it?
Well, you've got the clap thing, but what I try to do now is to do it when I start the engine. So I always start the two cameras up before I'll start the bike up, and I try and time it to that. And then I could, if I'm talking for 10 minutes and then I start the bike, then it's just a stitch line, and then I can go backwards to what I was talking about and put it in the videos.
Yeah.
But it's difficult because you've really got to set it all up before you decide if you're going to clap or whatever way you want to sync your audio. But I've got one more video that I'm working on now, which is all the positions for the rear of the bike with a full extension of the selfie pole thing. And then I'll do my thoughts on the whole lot. But I've got one more showing positions, and then the channel will just go to that. That's going to be the main camera at the front of the bike sort of idea. And I will move it now and again, but I think that's the way to go with that camera. But I'm loving the 360. I must admit.
No.
Did you see the tracking feature one?
I did. I've not commented on it yet. I was watching it on my TV, and sometimes my TV, I can't comment when I'm watching it on the telly, so I've got to get my phone out, and I probably just didn't have my phone on me at the time, but I still to comment on it. But no, it was good. So that's a feature where it tracks you, and does it just put it on one file?
Yeah. See the video I put up. Have I put up the video of your run yet? Where you're alongside me? No. Well, I'm getting this away then. So see when you're when you overtake me, and then later in the video I overtake you, and then the bits at the traffic lights and that, I've done wee clips. What I done was just activate the tracking on you, and I don't need to do nothing with the footage. It'll do it all for me.
Right.
And it just it tracks you coming up alongside me at the traffic lights or the traffic we were in, then tracks you going away, and then the overtaking when you come up the side of me, and then you changed your mind, and then you went back and then come up the side of me. There's some good footage with that tracking you. And then when I overtake yourself on the bypass, it's really a cracking feature on that camera that nobody seems to use, I don't think.
So how does that? Did you? So you've not set that mode up on the fly when you were riding? Did you just set that up for the word off, or?
No, you can't. It's done. It's done.
It's all done post editing.
Right.
So, 18-minute clip. Say I want to track 5 minutes of that or 3 minutes of that clip. I need to track it. I'll set the position up first, then put a box in what I want to track, and then just let it run for as long as I want it to run, and then stop it, and then I can do all the other stuff after that. I can spin the camera around, do all the spinning maneuvers and all the rest of it. You can do that way after, but it's quite a powerful. I thought it was a powerful feature, but maybe I'm just seeing it from a bike point of view. I don't know. If I was on the bike and, for example, 3 bikes go by me, then I would need to manually do that. But if I was just out with one person and that person was sitting just at the back of me, and I can set that camera to record you the whole time. It'll not be looking at me, it'll be looking at you the whole time. And I just hit one button and it just tracks you the whole way. Pretty good.
Right.
Pretty powerful feature, I thought.
Yeah, sounds good.
So I filmed quite a lot of the wee man at the skate park, and the 360 was one of the cameras I was looking at for that, because there's sometimes that he does like a line within the skate park, so he's using near enough every bit of apparatus in the skate park, and putting the 360 in the middle of the park on a tripod would pick up the whole lot, and I could just basically start it from him dropping in, track him from that to I'm finishing the run without having to do, because now I'm running around like up and down ramps and whatever, holding my camera, you know, it's like whereas that could just do
You're doing all the work.
See, a wee question for you with the 360. See, when you're doing the tracking, can you pan and zoom as well?
No, when you track, you set up, say, just before it, you would set your keyframe. So in that keyframe, you can have it zoomed in or zoomed out. But while it's tracking, you can't touch that.
Right.
You can't do nothing with it afterwards either. You can't add a zoom in.
Right.
So you set up your kind of framing before you would hit the button on the tracking.
Yeah.
So
are you editing the 360 software on the Insta 360 program, and then are you, once you've rendered that, are you putting that onto your editing software after that, or are you doing it all?
Yeah, I'm reframing in the Insta software, and then I'm putting it in my Vegas Pro 17 to bring all the other stuff together.
So theoretically, what you could do is, just say you're out with Robert, you could track Robert, have that section, and then in the other program do pan and zoom with that software. So you
can definitely, you could.
Then you start going down the rabbit hole and start losing hours and hours and hours, because that's what happens.
You do, because you must have to spend a lot of time editing it.
It's just the reframing an 18-minute clip, so you've got to reframe the whole 18 minutes, right? But while you're doing that, you're watching a clip, you hit a reframe, you maybe go 2 minutes, and then you watch that 2 minutes, go, nah, I don't like that, and then you reframe it again. So it takes a wee bit of time editing, but because of what I do at work, I've got time where I can just go and sit in my office, and when I sit in my office, I've got a chair that spins round, so I'll use the mobile app.
Right.
So if I'm sitting facing it, then say I want the camera to be there, so I'll turn my seat around, I'll start, and then all I'm doing is moving a chair around to keep everything within frame. So you've got your 2 options. The problem with the phone is you've got to have a phone with some decent memory, or you're going to run into problems, because I'm down, when I go out for a run, I'm probably doing, I don't know, my file size now is about 100 gigabytes between the cameras, the 2 cameras at the moment. So it's quite a lot to deal with the PC as well, but it's worth it.
Yeah,
it's definitely
when you see the footage, it's spot on. It really is. It's good.
And the reason I always thought a 360 was, believe it or not, R6 Monkey ran the TT Mountain with the 360 Fusion.
The Fusion he had.
That's when I fell in love with it. That's when I went, one day I'm going to get a 360 camera. So
you see more. You see on the telly, there's more and more like presenters doing it as well. You know, they might be walking through a field or walking through a forest or something, you know, in country file, and they've got a stick with a 360 on it, and they're just on their own out in the middle of nowhere, and it's panning. And as I'd said to you before, it's like you've got your own camera crew with you, because you're getting all these different angles. you know, in all these third-person angles.
I was
really good.
watching a boy on Instagram today, actually, a motocrosser. So he's got one hand on the throttle and the other hand holding the 360. Obviously, he's just got his hand out because it deletes the selfie pole, and he went up a jump and threw the back end out. And he's looking back at the camera, and the throttle hand he takes off and does a thumbs up and all that. And the footage was just incredible. And comes back round, and all the while doing it all one-handed, and it was just like, wow, that's dynamite.
Yeah,
and it does open those doors and those avenues for you, because it'll see everything. It sees everything that you're probably missing yourself.
Yeah.
The best way that I think to describe it, what else it brings is off the bike. See the amount of times you've went somewhere, you're off the bike and you thought to yourself, I would like to set something up or have it record what I'm doing or whatever.
Yeah.
You would just leave that camera on, and then later on you could catch the footage. Now the only problem with the camera is at 30 minutes it shuts down and starts a new clip.
Right.
But you've got 10 to 15 seconds
where it's like for it shutting down to obviously it must be saving to the memory card, and then before it switches on, so you lose like 15 seconds of footage.
If you're vlogging, you're knackered during that gap. You would need to take it out. So definitely worth the money. A wee bit more expensive than a GoPro. I'll do my final thoughts video on it. We'll get it shipped to you, Lockwood, and you go and do your stuff with it.
I wouldn't mind just a wee,
If you're wanting a go with it, mate, I'll send it to you after Lockwood.
Aye, spot on, man. Spot on.
But once the good weather comes in, it's all mine. Nobody's getting it. So
that's it. You'll be locked up for months editing. We'll not see you. You have that much footage.
Well, it's like that.
There's Christopher come in with the usual comment. Any plans for new bikes for this year? Oh, new bikes this year.
I have been sort of toying with the idea. I've actually just been talking to John about it, because John knows the guy who I've actually got my in his bike. He just bought a Harley Davidson and he's got a ZX9R sitting. I don't even know whether it's still sitting. I don't even know whether he's still got it. But the last time I spoke to him, he wasn't in a hurry to sell it. So, but I'm not sure about it, because the bike's going to be a collector's item soon. That specific model. So I know what I'm like, because I would end up just tarting it up to the hilt and cherishing it, and instead of riding the backside off it. So
exactly what you're doing now with your bike, your current bike.
Yeah. I had a wee incident with the bike the other night. I got the carbon fibre heel plates, because the heel plates that were on it, the guy who had the bike before me got the fake vinyl carbon fibre, and I just didn't like it. So I bought the heel plates. I saw them at a decent price on eBay, so I bought them. The left-hand heel plate, the left-hand bolt, the thread for the Allen key was rounded, so I thought, right, I'll just get a Torx bit, just chap it in, and it'll grab, and then I'll be able to slacken it off. So I basically get the Torx bit, hammer, I chapped it, no harder than normal, and I snapped the bloody foot peg, the foot peg holder. The lug come right off. So I've got a full foot peg and holder and everything coming to me this week, so that I can replace it. Just to so my nice wee bit of carbon fibre cost me an extra 50 quid.
Right, yeah.
So that's what happens, isn't it?
Along with your battery as well.
Oh, mate, honestly, 85 quid for a battery. When did batteries get so expensive?
I know.
Only that's when you were looking to buy one.
I know.
I was saying to Graham's, I don't even know whether it's the battery might have been all right, and it's my battery charger that's on the way out. You know, that way. But I don't want to risk it now, so I was like, no, you know what? See, because of the size of the engine, you need your battery to be premium. It needs to be spot on. So I was like, well, 2018, I've got the bike, so it's 2022. I've had it for 4 years. I don't know how long that battery's been in when the last owner had it. So I was like, no, I'll just get rid of it. I'll get rid of it and get a new battery. So that's what I did. But I couldn't trust it that day, Robert. Honestly, I don't think it would have. I don't think it would have handled it.
Well, my CB's 2 and a bit years old, and I think when I got it, I think it was 9 months old. I ran it all summer last year, and I had to stick a new battery in it.
Yeah.
Because the battery was, in fact, you could just tell 1,000cc, the battery's got to be strong, and you could tell it was struggling for the word off. So I think a couple of years sometimes. And then the thing is as well, you can't stick yours on an Optimate because you've not got any power in your garage.
No, I don't.
So when it runs down.
Aye, I've even looked at like some sort of solar power charging, but see where my lockup is like I can't guarantee that youngsters won't just pull the solar panel clean off the side of the lockup or whatever. It's like it would be exposed.
No.
It'd be good to see see if you had a car battery and you managed to rig that up to an Optimate some way. It'd be good to see how long that would last, whether you would get a few months out of it or whatever. Yeah. God knows.
What was you planning on?
I'm quite happy, to be honest. The VFR, as you know, I like getting out on that because it's just a fun bike to go on. The CB is much more comfortable if you're going on trips and stuff, and you've got the power there if you need it. It's decent on fuel. I don't think so. I think if anything, I'd want a third bike. But maybe like, as I'd said to you when we were out, maybe like an MT-07 or something, like a twin, something that you can wring its neck and kind of take, or what you think in your head, you're taking it to its limit. So I'd maybe something like that. But no, I'm quite happy with what I've got, to be honest. And with the job situation, to be honest, I'll be lucky to keep 2 bikes. So I'll just keep what I've got and just see how the year goes out.
Yeah.
See how it pans out.
And for myself, it's all I've asked enough questions in the last couple of videos. The consensus is I keep the FZ1. I just about hit the button in an MT10 yesterday, and then backed it at the last minute after having a conversation with another biker I know. And he was like, no, your bike's paid for, it doesn't owe you nothing, and running our season, give yourself time to think about the new 10 that's coming out, or stuff like that. So it looks like I'll be keeping the FZ1. Enough people, it's actually made me think that I should always keep it, regardless of what I do in the future.
Aye. I'm like that with the ZZR.
I'll not buy an MT10, so there's no point.
Yeah. The Viffer I'll no sell. If anything, I'll just make it better. I've got plans to spend a wee bit of money on it and put new forks on it and upgrade the brakes and stuff just to make it, even better than it is, because at the moment the brakes are rubbish. So I've got no plans to sell that because I'll not get the money back on it. So I'll as well just making it my own wee project. It's my wee bike, and I'll just kind of do it. And I always get lots of comments when I'm on it. Yeah,
that's what happened with my ZZR 600 when I had it. Now, when I had all the receipts for everything that I did to that bike, and what I paid for that bike, I probably put about another 3 times into it over the course of my ownership of it, up to the point that I sold it. And I sold it to a guy who, unfortunately, if I'd known what he was going to do to it, he only put 100 miles on it and parked it out in a garden for a year. If I'd known he was going to do that, I would have basically just kept the money and kept it in my lockup and looked after it myself. But now I know the other guy who owns it, and he's loving it and he's cherishing it, and it's basically back up to its former glory. So but again, that was one that I wish I hadn't get rid of, because it's got a lot of sort of special memories.
I've had a few of them, to be honest, that I've got rid of, and I'm like, what did I do that for?
Yeah, my ZRX was exactly the same. It's like the year I had, it was a year and a half that I owned the bike, but the summer that I had with that bike, I just got on with it so well. It
But
did
you can see that in some of your videos.
Aye, just everything, everything that I wanted it to do, it did. It didn't feel inadequate in any way. You know, it was like it had enough power. Didn't at top end, it wasn't. It kind of sort of topped out quite thingy, because obviously because it had a 5-speed gearbox and whatever, and all the torque was sort of low end with it, being sort of a muscle bike. But no, it was like at any corner that get thrown into it went round it quite easily. And I do still to this day. I was like, I miss that bike.
Yeah.
Have you still got the videos?
Yeah, I do.
Back in the days where Zed didn't care about what he posted, and that bike's in a few good videos, by the way. Aye, that was in a few. Aye, that's when I first kind of passed and started, and you had a lot of stuff. Some cracking videos with that. We've had a few questions regarding drones. Would you buy a drone that tracks you? Anybody? Is that something that's of any interest, MD?
Nah,
Drones?
not really.
I would. I would. You know what? The thing is that I think the thing as well that you've got to think is that if you're going out there for a day's riding, then and you just want to film you out on a day's riding, then fair enough. But if you want to do something quirky, like go and set a camera up in a corner or something, and then take about 4 or 5 passes on that, and then you go and grab the camera, stick it back in your helmet or wherever, and then you go away and you go somewhere else and do something, you end up spending more time fanning about with cameras than you do actually out riding. And I don't know whether that would be the same with drones. It's just one other thing to add to it. But I love the whole tracking feature on them. I think it's great.
Well, see when we were out with Todger and that, it's like he fired the drone up at the rest and be thankful. And like the was it the wee Mavic he had, the wee Mavic Mini?
Aye.
And that basically he had that up in the air within minutes. Do you know what I mean? So
right.
something like that, and like obviously like we're in the car park and he's done the whole cinematic thing with it. So I would be an advantage for that. But see, to be quite honest, for me right this minute, it's just something else I need to charge. You know, because I've got 3 cameras, I've got the Senna. Do you know what I mean? It's like just something else that you've got to fire a charger on it.
Do you know Stephen Neville? He's been out with us a few times. He was out with us on Friday there actually, and it was him that came to the Sky trip. And the day he got up, we were leaving for Morrison's at 10 o'clock that morning. He got up at 4 in the morning and went out on his bike about 2-3 hours down the road and bought a drone off a guy because he knew he was going to Sky, and then he took it. He'd never flown it in his pub, and then that was him. And he went and just spent 300-400 quid on a drone, and then brought it up to Sky. And then some of the footage that we had at the Quarrying Pass was his drone, and it was amazing. You know, when you seen Scott went down and round, and but he didn't know how to put the tracking feature on, so he was manually just moving it bit by bit. And at one point, I thought he was going to just go straight into a rock, but the footage for that was amazing.
Yeah,
it really was good.
I'm sure one of them you can get a wristband and it's like a follow me. It's like a transponder, so it's basically following the transponder, but I don't think you can go above 35 miles an hour or 40 miles an hour or something like that. There's some sort of, obviously because you would be fast away from its range. But if you're doing sort of moody sort of winding through whatever, I think it would have its benefits, but again, I think it would bring its own problems as well.
Yeah.
It's that whole stopping and then setting it and sending it up, and you're always going to make somebody else look better because you're not going to let anybody else fly it. You're not touching it. So it's all that kind of hassle. We MT-07s in the house.
All right, Grant. How you doing?
Right, Grant.
Somebody asked about the Scottish Bike Show. Where was it?
Aye. It was
Scotland Biker.
Scotland Biker, yeah.
When is that?
Is it March?
March,
isn't it?
March, aye. It's normally March. I think it's normally March.
Yeah.
Everybody says it's not as good, but I don't know.
I like going on the bike. You know, see if 2 or 3 you can go and spend the day there.
Yeah.
I think it's quite good. But if the weather's rubbish,
It's a difficult ride going through when it's wet. Graham's and I did it. We were it's actually on one of our Six Monkeys videos when we did the stand there, and Graham's and I were going through, and our bikes were hanging. Spent almost all weekend cleaning the bikes. His was spotless because he had it in the back of his car. He just took the screen off his and just wheeled it in. His car, he could take the back seats out. So he's doing his vlog in the car and the bike's just sitting there at his shoulder. Hey guys, how you doing? we go by and we're like frozen snotters on the bikes because of the time of year it is. But no, I like the Scottish bike show. I just wish some of the bigger manufacturers would jump on board with it and support it a wee bit better. But I like the classic haul better than I do the new bike haul because there's some that's where we were in the second haul, the classic bike haul, and it was brilliant. But it's going to be different because the Leadburn Inn used to have a massive stand, and the guy who owned the Leadburn Inn isn't there anymore, so that stand won't be there. And that had the biggest stand in that whole hall. And I don't know if you've ever been to the bike show and you saw the big wooden Harley.
Yes,
that was the Leadburn Inn. That was the owner of the Leadburn Inn's Harley Davidson. Made out of wood. And it was as I say, it was a massive stand, and that won't be there anymore. So it should be.
I think one thing to take for is don't go with your credit card, because if you look at all these stalls, some of the stuff that you can buy is mental. And I suppose that's maybe the downside of taking your bike, is that you can't buy stuff.
Yeah,
or maybe it's a good thing.
Probably a good thing. Aye. But there's Scotland Bikers come up. It's the 12th and 13th of March, so at least we know the dates. Yeah. That's actually it's only about 7 or 8 weeks to we might get some good weather again.
Mm-hmm.
We're through the worst of it. Well, maybe touch wood.
It's been quite a mild winter, to be quite honest. I work outside every day, so I mean, I know what it was like last year. This has been quite mild. It's actually been a dry year as well, relatively. I remember last year, I think it was about 5, maybe 6 weeks in a row. I get soaked every single day in work from 8 o'clock in the morning to 4:30 at night, and it's been not too bad. We've got away with it quite well.
Yeah, I was on Friday, as you know, Zed, you couldn't come along because of your battery. But there was a few bits of the road were quite wet, and then you would hit a dry patch. But you're that way even in the dry patch. You don't want to push it too hard, because you're still dead weary of it. But then you would hit sections where it had been badly salted, heavily salted, and you would have that middle track that was just full of crap. And there's times if you're on the inside track and you're having to cut across, and you can feel the bike moving for under you. But it was still a good day out, even though the bikes were bogging. But it was good. It was good to get it.
I enjoyed your wee jaunt, even though it was pretty much raining the whole time.
But
the roads were full of fuel. That was the only thing. That's obviously the tractors and farmers and stuff like that. But I was feeling it regarding when I could see all the rainbow everywhere.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. See the stretch from Arica to all the way to when you get through Rest and Be Thankful, and then you've got that stretch after that before you get into Inverary.
Yeah.
You know how it's a nice, lovely sweeps.
Yeah.
The roads there. I actually was, because usually in the wet I'm really, really weary, but I wasn't pushing it, but I was that way where I was getting quite a lot of confidence because the roads were fine. Couldn't see any fuel anywhere, and that stretch there didn't seem to be much salt in the road either. It was lovely. And I think when I got into him, when we go over that bridge and go into Inverary, I had a massive smile on my face because I was like, I can't wait for maybe April, May time when that road's totally dry.
Right.
And then there's not a lot of traffic on the road either at this time of year. So it's great.
It's one of my favourite roads, that.
Aye.
And it rides well both ways as well. That's another one.
There was the one that you done when you'd been out yourself for the day and you'd been to Inverary and then you came back and did the 817 past Loch Long.
Aye.
And you did a whole video on that, and we did that in reverse. We did that Loch Long route in the way in, and then just straight down in the way back. But it was good.
So something else we need to touch on is obviously the amount of motovloggers that are coming up to Scotland this year. I mean, I've just was talking to Paul for Biking Buddies, who I went down there 3 years ago, and he's doing the NC 500. So they're coming up. You've got, who else is coming up? Rev Bomb and all that.
Rev Bomb, Simon GTR,
aye,
Andy GSA Tractor.
Yep.
I think possibly Jim Diesel as well.
I think so. I think he's supposed to be coming up. Yeah.
So there'll be a few.
Is
Epic Adam.
Todger. Is he coming up this year?
Todger's got an issue with his shoulder now, so he's not riding. I think they're hoping that he'll be all right for the summer. They were talking about doing the southwest, round Dumfries and all that, and doing that whole section. Maybe just doing a bit of or over that side, maybe for a few days. We're talking about doing that side yet.
What we done in the camping?
I would love to do that again. That was a cracking route. That.
Aye. Yeah.
I'd love to do that again.
Aye. Well, I'd done it in the height of the summer and it was dry the whole time. And then when we done it, it was a wee bit wet. I think that time with the camping, but it was still a good route. But aye, it's a great road. It's a great
evening, Rev.
All right, Rev, how you doing, Da?
Rev Bomb, how you doing?
How you doing, Da? And then obviously the Epic Adam, right? So I heard in the grapevine he's been getting it tight. So what's your thoughts on the fact that he wants to borrow a bike? What do you think of this? And he wants somebody to ride his sister. Sorry, Paul.
Well, I'll jump in first, right? So that I've offered them to ride the VFR for the day. And I think it would be good for his channel and it'd be good for my channel as well. One day I said that he could have it. The thing is, he's staying. Well, I can't really say where he's staying. He's told me where he's staying, but I'm not going to say where it is. But it's up Loch Lomond way anyway, so you're about an hour and a bit. And how we get two bikes there, whether I speak to Graham's and see if we can stick my two bikes in his van and I'll drive the van to there, or we work out some other way of doing it. I don't know yet, but aye, I've offered him to take the VFR for the day as long as I go out with him, and we just do a day's run, and he was quite happy to do that. I think he was being a wee bit naive when he did his video, because I don't know whether when he wasn't pronouncing.
Bang one.
Aye, I know, mate.
Loch Lomond.
He wasn't pronouncing it right, but I don't know whether he was genuinely not pronouncing it right, or I think some people, get their back up a wee bit because they thought maybe he was taking the piss.
He did actually message me because, I shared it on the Facebook page.
Yeah, and that's how it all started.
And he basically private messaged me and said, any chance you can take it off the page? And I basically messaged him back and said, listen, mate, see, at the end of the day, any sort of publicity is good publicity.
Aye.
It's just banter. I think he took it the wrong way, but I noticed that he came back on later and was having a conversation with a lot of them. So,
yeah. Aye, so I mean, it might change, but Grant was saying there really, but I've seen some he's got a 600 Bandit, and I've seen some of his videos so he can ride a bike, and I think he'll be all right. At the end of the day, if he drops it, he pays for it, But and I know it's something that's probably personal to me because I've built it, but I've not got any issues with it. I think it'll be good footage for both the channels, and he's got quite a few subs, so
yeah,
that might help me as well, and help him. Who knows? But it might not change.
Because he was back and forwarding with me for quite quite a wee while, and it was like, what's the roads like up here, blah blah blah, and then it was like, any chance you could ask about me getting a bike, and I'm like, it is a big ask to be asking people, especially like, I mean, it's not as if everybody that we know knows who all the motovloggers are. I mean, as big as he may be in his own wee world, nobody knows him up here. You know, it's like a complete stranger coming into your backyard and saying, "Yeah, show your bike."
Yeah.
But no, that's good. I understand, Robert, why you would want to do that. It's a good opportunity to collab with them. So, fair play.
It gets more footage of the bike, and I did think long and hard about it before I offered. And he did say, "No, it's fine. I'll get. I don't want to put you out. I'll get something." But I was like, "No, we'll work it out. It's not. I think he's coming up in April or something like that. So it's still a wee bit away.
Beginning of April.
And if it's a week where it's torrential rain, I'll not be in it. So it might be. Yeah, and you never know with this climate. It might even be snow in April.
Yeah.
When I first seen his video, because I've watched him for a wee while, actually, probably well over a year. The sense of humour side there. He was asking a question. He did want to borrow a bike, right? But the fun and the hilarity in his video regarding his sister and all that, I got that straight away. So I'm like, I was a bit like Zed. I'm thinking, who's really going to give him a bike? And then I thought, well, it could happen. It depends. No, it depends what you want to do with that. As Lockwood said, no, it's like a collab, like collaborating with him, which is always going to be a good video. I think that'll be one of the videos that'll be a really good video. So I think it's a great idea. But I got his sense of humour. That sense of humour's in every other video. Sometimes you think that's a wee bit strange, but it's not when you've watched him for a wee while. He seems quite a genuine guy.
Yeah, no, I think he is, and he was taking it hard because one of the boys was slagging him quite a lot on the chat, and he was taking it quite hard. He'd messaged me as well saying, do you know who this is? And I was like, listen, mate, honestly, don't worry about it. It's just a bit of banter. Don't take it to heart.
I think he thought he was going to get lynched when he came over the border.
I think so, yeah. I think he was trying to change his plans.
Oh, God.
Oh, look at this with John. There's John's sense of humour coming out. Imagine he even said that there.
He's just jealous because he's not got a license, so he can't get a shot at it. You know what I mean?
That's it, exactly.
Yeah.
Andy thinks the weather will be better for us than it is down south in April. That might be true, by the way it's gone.
Sun shines on the righteous, Andy.
Oh, good quote. Aye. Brilliant quote.
Yeah, mad.
So any's got any plans for anything soon? Oh, by the way, in fact, before you answer that, right, I'm going to put something out there that I keep getting asked about. Are we doing an opening camping trip? Because I get asked constantly.
Aye. I want to. A season opener and a season ending would be cracking.
I get constantly asked about it.
Mate, it was brilliant. The last one was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
It was good.
Such a good laugh.
Yeah, it's where we go, I suppose. Aye. It's just whatever, really. I know you talked. Were you talking about doing one? Where was it? But what was the one you were talking about doing after we done?
I put a group together for this year, which was going to be Ireland, but obviously things have changed, and somebody else will need to take control of that if that's what it's going to be. But I just kept getting asked about, are we doing a camping season opener? Because this person's doesn't care whether it's the basic bikers, me and yous, or they don't. No, these people don't care who it's with. They're just wanting, because they've seen how much fun, loosely use that word, we had last year. They're just wanting involved. They want to go.
It was explosive.
Yeah. So horn bump. Classic.
John mentioned that actually in an earlier comment. I never popped it up.
Aye.
Superb.
But the island trip, the group, or the conversation started with that. Has already started. So I'm assuming that Scott and Chris have continued with that. If they haven't, I'm sure they'll pick it up. But I'd like to do a season opener. I don't know. It doesn't need to be my camping trip or anybody's camping trip. It's just a season opener camping. Would you fancy doing the same place, considering we get away with murder for the opener? Or would you like to go somewhere different?
Personally, I would want to go somewhere different. I think I wouldn't mind going there again, but
Aye. It was a bit close for you guys, though, wasn't it? I mean, it was.
Aye.
It was right on your sort of back door.
And we've not done one since there, so doing the same place twice in a row, I think.
Do you know where a good place to camp is? Loch Gilphead.
Right.
That's got a cracking campsite. And if you camp there on the Friday night, you can head down to Campbelltown, down by Tarbert and all that, and then you can go the other way as well. There's a couple of good routes up that way. But Loch Gilphead's a good campsite. That's
good. It's a good run up there. It's a good road to Loch Gilphead from Inveraray, isn't it? It's a cracking road, that.
Oban's got a good campsite as well. Right. It's round by the diving centre. I don't even know if it's still there. You know, I'm going from like how old I am. It's like 20 odd years ago since I was at that campsite, but it's like on a farm. But it's fantastic. It's right by the water and that. It's amazing. I do imagine it's still going because it was very, very popular.
Yeah.
It's certainly the one that Loch Gilphead is.
Have any of you been to Easdale Island?
No.
No. Have you heard of Bridge over the Atlantic just before you get to Oban? You heard of that? No.
No.
I'll need to take you there this year. Just in the way into Oban, if you're coming from the Loch Gilphead side, just before you come into Oban, you go left towards Easdale, and it takes you over a wee humpback bridge, which is there's a stream there that runs off the Atlantic,
right?
And it's called Bridge over the Atlantic. So you go over that, and then a few miles, you go along a single track, and it comes to the end of the road. And then you can get a wee speedboat, a wee boat that takes you across to Easdale Island. There's no roads, and you can walk around that. And I think there's a wee restaurant and stuff in it. That's a good day out as well.
Yeah.
It's just a thought for, if we were to camp in Oban or Loch Gilphead or something.
Yeah. There's also a campsite called Ayrshire, and that's up by Loch Lubnaig. You drive through Callander, and it's in between Callander and Strathire. It's also a cracking campsite right on the water again. But like again, it's the gateway to wherever you want to. I hate the deodorant cans.
That's it. Definitely. Without a doubt.
Ayrshire a good one as well, and the run in through Callander's absolutely cracking. There's some right wee windy roads on the way to Loch Lubnaig.
There's a way you go, saying the Northwest 200 camping trip. That was what was already getting discussed within the group that we put together to try and come up with a trip to Ireland. So that's probably something you should get in touch with them with. They'll certainly have the conversation with you with that. So definitely get in touch with the Basic Bikers for that, because that conversation's already started about that. For the Northwest 200. Was it, Stuart? Were you in that chat as well?
No, I wasn't.
No,
I wasn't in that chat.
I was in the chat because it was supposed to be a one-nighter. I think that was the original chat when Chris added me, and do you fancy doing an overnight doing the Northwest 200? And I was like, aye, I'm up for that. Let me know when it is. And then he came back and said, it's going to be 2 nights. And I was like, I can't do 2 nights. 2 nights or 3 nights. And he said, you're the weakest link, goodbye. And then he just took me off the group.
That's Chris. That's Chris.
I know. And I was like, what's he like? But that was fine. But that was the last I'd heard about it. And then, who all went? Or did it happen?
No, I don't think it did. No. So
away you go, like Gary from Away You Go. He's got a trip planned in Ireland for his group. I was actually on a Facebook live stream with them at Christmas time. They were talking about it, and I think it's a Friday night, Saturday night. and it's like this sort of lodge sort of place that they were talking about. I'm sure he'll come back up on the chat and tell us,
let us know
more about it. But I'm just thinking about, like, obviously when Stena do their deals for getting over there, it'd be good to sort of maybe pop over and hook up with them.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
I've got Rev Bomb says he hasn't used his new tent yet. That's because we're getting better weather than you. Get it, run you.
That's it.
Is there space for Lockwood, Rev Bob?
It's a 2-man with a jacuzzi.
Bump bed.
That's it. I wouldn't go that far.
And there's 2 wheels in a tent.
You know what? This is a question you should have asked right at the start, because we'd still be here 3 hours talking about it.
Yeah.
There's that much. But
I know it's like different strokes for different folks, isn't it? It's like what you want. It's what you want to do. It's what your budget is. I would say budget's the sort of the main sort of factor in all of that. What I would say is I wouldn't be going out and spending 400 and brand new GoPro Hero 10 if you're only going to motovlog for maybe 2 months and you decide that the editing part of it's as ball aching as it can be sometimes, and you decide that it's not for you and you would rather just ride your bike, or you start at entry level, maybe like a Hero 5 or a Hero 6, which is still a bloody decent camera.
Hero 5 is a great camera.
Yep, and it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, and it'll give you a little taste of that. Even the drifts, I can't speak about the drifts. I've never had one. I do know that the Flying Jock that I got out with Stevie, he's got one, and some of the image quality of it's spot on. But again, it's one of these things. Were you an Amiga guy or were you an Amstrad guy? It's like Betamax VHS. It is what it is. It's like
Ford or Vauxhall.
Yeah. pays your money and take your chance.
Yamaha or Suzuki.
Aye, yep. When I started doing it, I'd just been watching vloggers, and I think it was my 50th or something, and what do you want? And I was like, just get me a camera, and it ended up it was my wife's family had all pitched in, and they got me like a wee Hero. In fact, I've got it here, a wee Hero 7 white.
Yeah.
Brand new, and it's got its limitations, but it's one of the cameras where you just switch it on and go.
Yeah.
And that'll give me about two and a bit hours battery life. And now I just stick that on the back of the CB and just switch it on and leave it, and then see what footage I pick up at the end. But I initially had that on my helmet, and even though you can't plug a mic into it, it's good. It's a good start if you don't really want to speak initially. It's a good starting point. But for getting one of them brand new, you'd be as well just getting a second-hand Hero 5, which you can then stick a mic in when you're ready to do it. And that's I can't say enough about the wee Hero 5. It's a cracking wee camera.
And as for your next question, there's no way that'll work.
No,
the vibration will kill it.
Your phone would not have enough image stability to do that.
To foment.
Nah. I've never tried it, but I wouldn't have thought so.
No, the only way I think you could probably get around something like that is a chest mount.
That might work actually.
Yeah, because obviously, like you would have it there, so you could have like a chest mount, but at the speeds, the phone would come clean off it.
I've never heard the SJ cams.
No,
I have. I've heard of them. There's also one that the flyers use called a Run Cam. It's a Run Cam 2, and I don't know if you can see if you Google it, Mark, and maybe put it up on the share screen. A Run Cam 2.
Run Cam 2.
Yeah, it looks terrible, but it's like HD and so on and so forth. I'd actually saw them. It wasn't AliExpress. It was like one of the other sort of Chinese Chinese sites that you can buy direct from the
Like
suppliers.
Lush or something.
I can't remember. I think
Yeah.
I was buying my crotchless knickers or something like that at the time, and I
Yep.
stumbled across the cameras. I can't rightly remember.
As you do. Yeah.
Has that popped up?
That's it
There
there.
you go. Yep.
So basically, the run cam as well. I mean, there you go. It's like Banggood. That was the one that I saw it on, and like they're basically used for drones and stuff like that. So I mean, like there you go for 62 quid. You're getting an HD camera, and you could actually mount it inside the fairing of your bike or somewhere. Somewhere like concealed, is it there?
Yeah.
It's good.
Just depends what you want to do, doesn't it? It's whether you just want to record
exactly
footage or whether you want to, be a motovlogger and start, chatting.
Yeah.
Well, I don't suppose you need to chat to be a motovlogger, but
There's sports bike shop are selling the Drift Ghost XL for 117. I would say that's a bargain.
Yeah.
To get you going, because what I would say is the Drift audio is better than GoPros.
Yeah.
The noise cancellation, they've got that dialed clean in. Where GoPro dropped the ball was when they went away from working with Senna. Can't understand why they never actually bought Senna and just used Senna's noise cancellation software that they've got on their headsets within their cameras. I don't know why they didn't do it. Because right now we would all have wireless mics, because they would just run it via Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Because I know that there's like I've got the Hero 9, which that's what that is right there. That's filming just now, and the Hero 10 as well. The GoPro have actually allowed, or there's developer apps within it, or programs within it that allows developers to work on programs. Now, I haven't actually seen any developers come up with any additions to the camera, but they're unlocking parts of the camera to allow developers to do that. And one of the things that I think they should be trying to do is Bluetooth wireless mics.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they went away from it.
Well, I'm getting the Rode system, the Rode wireless.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm going to try it out, and I'll see how I get on with it. But I'm buying the dual pack.
Right.
So that if ever in a situation where there's somebody coming, I can record the conversation, sort of idea.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's my plan. So I can give you some feedback on that once I do it.
I got a wee audio recorder. I had been using my phone for a wee while, but I found it was getting a bit busy, and I've been looking at some, and I get this wee thing off Amazon for 20 quid.
Yeah.
And that records, I think it's up to 30 hours or something like that of audio. And then you can adjust the types of, how good do you want the quality. But that'll just take a standard.
He calls it something
Is that a
bigger.
Tascam?
That's a Tascam DR05.
Yeah.
Yep. And that was like my whole, when I was thinking about the audio for the bike, the Tascam was what I was planning on using, but that's too sensitive. Far too sensitive. This is it's like studio recording quality. You could actually use it as like a streaming mic, because I can plug it directly into the computer, and it's got like a hole there for putting on a tripod.
Has it got a jack for a mic?
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah. Right in the
there.
See it right there. It's a stereo mic that's on the top of it as well.
Yep.
You can do some right funky ASMR stuff with it when you're talking and like moving your head and that. It's like when you listen to it back on the earphones, it's crazy. It's very, very sensitive. I found I spent probably about 4 hours on my bike one night, and I was going through every single setting with it, because you can adjust the volume and you can adjust the gain, and what that does, it's like you'll know yourself, like when your audio spikes, because you can see, like, see when you lay your tracks down on your editing software, and you can see all the yellow high pitches on your sort of audio tracks, and then you have to sort of reduce the volume down to sort of stop the audio clipping. It's just something that happens when you're digital recording. It was very, very hard for that not to be the case with that. And as I say, it was 4 hours, and I felt as if I was getting closer, but I think I could have probably went close and then get further away from it again. I think it's more for like an audio engineer or something like that, not for a stupid idiot that
it's a professional
wrenches spanners. Do you know what I mean?
It's always a struggle, isn't it? It's an eternal struggle with all this stuff. It really is.
It is, because it's like learning the technology. You're having to learn the new technology all the time. It's like I know nothing about audio frequencies and so on, and I don't pretend to. And it's like no, it was.
I don't bother. I just if it sounds all right. I mean the ones that we had, before, the one that I'd said to you, Mark, about the Rode, the Rode Lavier. That was a great wee mic, but it was.
I bought that.
Really you did, but it's really sensitive. That was the only thing.
Was that a powered mic though? Did that?
No,
it was just.
And I'll tell you the good thing about I would say the only good thing about it is that it works perfect with the quick shot feature on the GoPro. So when you just switch it on, straight away it picks up, and every time the audio worked, because now sometimes the audio just doesn't work if you do the quick capture. But no, it worked every time. But it's really sensitive. That was the only thing that I noticed. It was quite. Sometimes it would hit the limits, and you could hear it. But I've never adjusted it, so I've just got a wee mic now that's not as sensitive. And
mine sits away back here. I've got it so far pushed in the Rode lavalier mic that it's fair near hit my ear inside my helmet. Because it just peaks at the top end sometimes.
And then the wind noise is definitely better now in my audio since I've got the wee hammer mic that I got, which was like £6 or something like that. And that works perfect.
So I put like a sound deadening material on the inside of my helmet, and I've blocked off the lower vents as well. Also, like using the Sena noise cancellation on that and going through the Hero 4. So like I've got that, but now I've got the backpack and whatever for the GoPro Hero 9, and I've got the Purple Panda that I've still to try, but I'm going to end up, and I can't remember who it was that said it. It says if you've got one mic, you've got no mics, but if you've got two mics, you've got one mic. I thought it was a brilliant statement. And so, like, I'm going to, when I'm out in vlogs, I'm going to have the Hero 9 connected mic-wise, and I'm going to have the Hero 4 as well. So I can basically pick and choose what the best audio is at any given time.
Plus, if one of your cameras bows out, you've still got audio, haven't you?
Yep, absolutely. Or if one of your cameras bounces down the road, that's actually got your backpack attached to it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's when I'm running the 360, I'm still running with my chin mount. Hero 7 Black, because I'm just so scared I lose the audio. And the audio's rotten, so. But sometimes it is, by the way, so I mix the two of them. But
there's no worse feeling when you come back and there's a problem.
Oh man,
especially when you're like, I absolutely nailed that, because like I don't know how you plan a vlog, but I don't write anything down as such. I showed Robert when we were at the camping trip. I've got like a wee thing on my phone, and it's basically just like wee ideas, and I'll sit and I'll maybe look at these ideas, but I've already formulated what I've wanted to say about them anyway within my brain. And so basically when I start recording, I can do a 10-minute vlog straight away without editing. I can, once I start talking, I just can't stop. And I've done that and got off my bike going, I absolutely smashed that. I was funny when I was meant to be funny, and I never messed up any words and whatever. And you come back and it's like, you're like, no, your mic's are like in the back of your head somewhere. It's moved in the helmet, or something's happened. You're like,
I had one of them on Friday when we pulled into a lay-by just before we went on the A817, and I switched my cameras on, and that whole section all the way to Inverary, no fucking audio, no audio.
What?
Not in the audio,
no.
it's
but I
just,
had audio on the way back, so I
Yeah.
could make something of it in the way back. But
it's just, it's crazy, and it's finding not even the consistency; it's the stability of your setup. It's your setup has to be bulletproof. Well, it has to be bee-proof anyway. Do you know what I mean? It has to be able to bounce down the road and still be able to be workable. But no, it's
See,
like
Andy's away. Away he goes away.
See you later, mate.
see you later, Gary. See you all the best, buddy.
Yeah.
I shot a whole 360. I tell Lockwood about this. I shot a whole 360 video. Got in the house, jumping for joy, thinking, because I started coming up with this wee idea of pointing, because I still had the chin mount on, going like that, just a wee signal, so I knew to rotate the camera. And I got back in the house feeling brilliant. So later on that night, I'm like, I'll transfer all that footage. Transferred the footage, and it was a black screen. So then I checked the chin mount, and I'm like, what's going on with the black screen? I never taken the cover off it.
Oh man,
Brilliant.
I recorded the whole lot with a lens guard on it, and I'm like,
I'll tell you another one, which isn't quite far off that. Maybe not quite as stupid as that, but
cheers.
is see when you get a fucking wasp on your screen or a bug or something on your lens, and you're doing a really cracking piece, and you can't really use it because you're.
No, it's like, see, like I do tend to, like, every now and then just wipe, just as a force of habit, to make sure that my forward-facing camera, if there is anything on it, it's clear, because that very thing. There's nothing worse than watching a vlog back and there's a fly's arse like that moving about in your camera lens. It's like, oh.
yeah, that's murder.
That's just the start. We haven't even touched on the editing.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we'll save that for another time. Aye, absolutely.
Definitely.
Aye, that's it. What software do you use, and how far in do you take it? I can know. It's a biggie, without a doubt.
I have to
you've got a 5-minute clip.
I have to relearn mine every month, because they download all these new skins and transitions and audio, and it's like every time you go in, you're like, I've not seen that before. What does that do? What does this do? And then you're down the rabbit hole for like 2 hours looking at all these fancy transitions and stuff like that. And you're like, I've not even started doing what I was meant on here to do.
It's absolutely murder. It's murder.
Yeah, it is. It sure is. So, back to bikes.
Go for it,
Mark. Right. So, you said you nearly signed the dotted line on the MT10. Is it a new bike you want? Is it a new bike you're after then, or would you go for a second bike? That's, if you're going to keep the FZ, is it a new bike you're after?
What are you trying to sell me?
I'm not trying to sell you anything. I was just wondering what you would be if it's new, if you want to go new, or would you just go second hand?
I wouldn't buy a new bike as in a new registered bike. I would buy a new bike that was pre-registered. But what's happened with asking so many people about what they think I should do is, when I look at an MT10, I'm looking at roughly the same bike. I know the MT10's more refined and there's a lot more to it now. So that kind of stopped me. So then I was looking at maybe going back to a sports bike, just as a second bike, similar to what you've done, but not quite to the extent you've done, because I don't have the time to put that amount of effort into it, to be honest. So I'm really kind of stuck with what way to go.
Because if you've got the FZ1,
you can't be upset with the FZ1 though.
No.
You might, and that's a good thing. It's not as if you don't like the bike. That would be a different story.
No, I love
You know,
the
if you
bike.
weren't if you weren't
for
getting
that.
on with the bike, I see the way you ride it, and I know how much you like it. So you're in a perfect position because you have to rush into any decisions.
No.
I'm the same with the Z. It's like the Z's all the bike I've ever wanted and more, but I want something else as well because there's just some days you want to ride differently, if you know what I mean. That's what I liked about the ZRX. You could just chill and just puttle about, but you're not puttling about, but you know what I mean?
Aye.
It's like
Aye.
it's a different mentality when you're riding. It's like sometimes you just don't want to be full on it all the time with your arse on fire. Do you know what I mean? There's some days that you do. And having that choice and that option, everyone's like that. I'm not talking about getting down the Harley road or anything like that.
No.
But just having that option to have a different sort of style of bike for a different style of riding for whatever mood you're in, I think would be a great position to be in.
There you go.
I think so. Aye. I would say so, because if you're going, I've said one MT10, even though it's a different bike, it's a newer version of your bike. Effectively, it's the same style, everything.
Aye.
So I don't know whether you would go for something different.
You think
different.
you think of a camping weekend, right, Mark, where you've got all your kit on the MT10, and that thing's trying to rip your arms off constantly. I rode my mate's MT10. Was it the S, the MT10S, or something like that? The S edition. This thing was like decatted. It was mental. It was so hard.
SP, is it no?
Aye, the SP it was, and it was so hard to keep the front wheel on the ground. But it was like highly addictive, a highly addictive bike to be on. It was so flickable, so light. But when you got to about 79 mile an hour, it's trying to pull you off the back of the bike. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
And I was like, this is serious. You know what I mean? And it's having that. It's these things you have to weigh up.
It's the balance, isn't it?
Yeah.
What were you thinking, Lockwood, before?
No, I was being genuine. I don't know whether you go for a sports bike. I know you've had a few sports bikes in the past. They've said your first naked bike, isn't it? So, well, it's whether you would go back to having something. It's just me you're talking about. You almost, because I was going to ask you earlier, and then I think we went on to something else. But it was like, you would. I think you'd only get the MT10 if you were maybe selling the FZ. Or
that was what I was doing. I was trading the FZ in. Aye. So I arranged everything and then backed it, basically. Backed it at the last minute. So, but as Zedhead says, I like the bike. It's not like I don't like the bike. So, and the other person I spoke to was like, the bike owes you nothing. Why not get a different style of bike? Maybe something a wee bit older, something you can play about in. So that made me think about, well, I had the S-Rad, so I'd quite like a 750 or 1000, maybe GSXR or something, but maybe a K5, nothing too new. And that would take that different, when I'm feeling that different way in a different day.
Yeah.
What I want to do.
Yep.
I'll tell you, I've had a couple of 929s, which were probably the fastest sports bikes I had. And I've had a few VFR 800s, and the VFR 800 for me was fast enough because you could sit in it, and you could throw it about, but it was heavy compared to maybe the sports bikes. But I would say it was comfier, and you could have fun on it. And you could chuck some luggage on it and go, go wherever. Yeah. Whereas I don't know how I suppose it is easy to do it on a sports bike. Look at Teapot One. He did it on his Gixxer, didn't he? He went around the world on it.
Yeah, he did.
So I suppose you could.
Well, what I'm thinking is, since you're going to give a complete stranger your biffer, I'm thinking then why not give somebody you know a shot in your biffer?
I just need to ask, mate.
Take it for a spin, because that sort of bike's got all types of luggage, everything else made for it. It's already there in the market. So
yep. Aye, no, definitely. Just beware because the brakes are not very good on it. But that's the style of bike.
Sorry, I
It's
don't
30
use the
years old.
brakes, mate. You're fine.
That's good. That's good. That's it. Just find a ditch somewhere and just point at it, and you'll be fine.
Long as if I leave the road, the grass is kind of flat. The ground's flat and the grass is not too high. I'm fine, mate.
Ideal. Brilliant. I'll get you out the next time then. My speedo stopped working when I was out on Friday there. I'd noticed my speedo. I was sitting about 60 and it was starting to do that.
Yep.
And then I was like, oh,
Ah,
what's going on with my speedo? And
I know what
thought,
that might be, mate.
and then as
could be
as the trip went on Friday, it went from sitting about 60, 70, because that was obviously the speed I was doing,
Yeah.
to dropping to about 30 or 40, and then eventually it just
Stop.
so it's now not working.
Could be the
See it.
Speedo drive gear.
I'll see at the back of it, mate. See, is there a connected to the fascia and at the back a screw with the
It's I think
cable?
it's
Aye,
screwed
it's-
in
it's
there,
got a-
and the
got a
other end's
square-
going into the gearbox.
It's
Aye.
got a square drive, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Aye, it's like a-
there's it's like a hexa on the gearbox side, down where the clutch housing is.
Mhm.
There's a hexagonal kind of nylon-y plasticky thing that
Yeah.
goes in there. I don't know if it's maybe something to do with that, or it might even be that the cable itself
drive-
slid away.
The Speedo drive cable could have sheared.
Right.
Aye.
It's like sometimes moisture can get down and then it oxidizes. So basically, like through time when it's trying to turn, it goes.
Aye.
And
Yeah.
the Speedo starting to drop sounds as if the wire's been stretching before it's went.
Right.
Possibly,
New cable.
possibly. Not 100% certain on that, but the best way would be to disconnect it at the gearbox side, and you could possibly put like a cordless drill or something like that on it, and see whether or not you can get the dial to read anything.
That's a good shout, and that's kind of testing. Aye. That's maybe a good way of doing it, actually.
Yeah.
I'll try that first. Because I was planning just to, look at it, adjust it, and then stick it on the centre stand and put it in first.
Yeah.
Well, we
Just see
need
if I can
brakes.
get it moving.
No brakes and no speedo. It sounds like a perfect combination for me.
Ideal. Aye, that's it. You don't know what speed you're going, so you don't know how. Perfect. But no, anytime, mate. Yeah, definitely.
Really, for me, it'd be the size, the overall size. How comfortable I'd feel where my feet are. Am I on my tippy toes? Am I on my ball with my feet? Or can I flat foot it easy? It's all that kind of stuff. Actually, when you need to ride the bike, I just need to kind of see where it fits me.
Yeah.
Sort of idea. But I certainly couldn't do what you've done with that. I just couldn't do that. I would need to buy one in your condition that you've got the now.
There's plenty out there, but I would definitely look at the 800 or even take an 800 for a spin, because I really like the VTEC on the 800. It's got the VTEC kicks in about 6,500 revs, and it opens up the other two valves, and it gives you a slight increase in power, but the note is the V4 note is so much louder.
Yeah.
And it's that's what I loved about the 800 VTEC. So maybe even try that.
That's one of the things about like the Kawasaki as well. It's like the induction noise at about 7,000 RPM. It's every bike's got that wee thing, and that's one of the ones on the Kawasaki is like the sound of the induction box when you're giving it the berries. It's amazing.
Will you be able to hold the fort till I go and get a refill?
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
Right,
Aye,
cool.
definitely, mate.
Talk amongst yourselves, just don't talk about me.
Why?
So I ordered a jacket last week. I don't know if you saw the wee sort of video I did, the unboxing of the boots. So I bought a new set of Track Tech RST Track Tech boots in black. I had them in red, white, and black, but I'm changing my kit to all black for the new season. So I ordered the jacket from the same place, and DPD sent me 2 emails, one saying that they had issued a tracking number for the boots and one saying they'd issued a tracking number for the jacket. And the tracking information for the boots I could follow all the way to Glasgow, and then you're driver's name's Chris, and he'll be here, so on and so forth. Chapped the door, got the boots. But the jacket, DPD stopped sending me any information with them. And I have 10 days. The company that I got the jacket from have had to issue or raise a complaint with DPD, which now has to be investigated. The investigation finishes tomorrow. So if nothing happens by tomorrow with regards to DPD, the company send me a new jacket. It's classed as lost. So between me buying the jacket and them sending it, DPD have lost it. It's a strange one.
Well, sometimes you wonder about the drivers, don't you? Whether they have a wee peek and they kind of know they obviously know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
You get to know these things by the markings, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. And I think they possibly get away with it for the sheer volume of packages that they're dealing with on a daily basis now. Obviously, like COVID's got a lot to play about. Has got a lot to blame for that. Obviously, a lot of people are shopping online as opposed to getting into shops, which sometimes, I mean, obviously, like a lot of shops are suffering because people are buying so much online. And if I can get away with it, I usually go into a bike shop and I'll usually buy the kit from them. But 9 times out of 10, when you try and get them to price match, they can't do it because they've got overheads, they've got rent, they've got rates, they've got electricity. So they can't do it. So like, what do you do?
I'll tell you, and I know it's not a nice thing to do, but I've seen me, and I've been told to do this in the past, was go into the shops and try it on.
Yeah.
And then don't buy it and buy it online. And then that's it's
thanks very much. It's like, thanks very much for that. I'll think about it and online straight away. And
that's right.
You're £30-40 cheaper than online than you are from the shop, and it's sad.
Aye, without a doubt, yeah. Aye. It's just the sign of the times. Even last week, I had to go into Ayr, and I had to be there for 9 o'clock. And I was like, you know the route. If you know the route to Ayr, if you're going along towards Prestwick, there's a big queue of traffic going through Prestwick. Or if you go the bypass way, there's a big queue of traffic waiting to get there. And then you get to Ayr, and there's another line of traffic. So it was rush hour traffic, 9 o'clock.
Yep.
And I thought, I'll leave at 8:15 so that I'm guaranteed I'll get there in time. And I couldn't believe how quiet the roads were. You know, and that was rush hour traffic midweek because half of the population's working from home.
That's right.
You know, and it's just the way things are going.
I know. My sister hasn't been in her office for 2 years. She works for Network Rail. So I mean, a lot of the stuff that she does remote even from the office. Because like she deals with a load of different sites. So it's basically logistics. She just isn't in the office. She's still at work for 8 hours a day and so on and so forth. But a lot of companies have turned around and have said, you know what, this working from home carry on is actually working because we can actually reduce our office space, we can reduce our rates, we can reduce the size of the operation and streamline it basically if people are willing to work from home.
Yeah. I think it's I think it's, for me personally, I think it's good to work from home because I can just go and I can make a coffee, I make a sandwich, you know, sit and watch the telly for half an hour for my lunch break, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't need to really get dressed to sit at a computer all day. So
I mean, it gets really hard for me to work from home. I'm a gynecologist, so I mean,
but I think it's good. It's good in some situations, but I feel like in other times, if I have to go into the office the odd day, I quite enjoy the experience of being with other folk and having a banter and a chat and all that.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't know how we'll end up. If it ends up that we are most days are working from home, I think that will definitely have an effect on, you know, the mental side of it.
I know that it has been discussed that if you test positive, they may not require you to isolate at all.
Yeah, I've seen
It
that
has
as
been
well.
discussed. So,
Yep.
I mean, you look at it as the way the law and the legislation is just now. If you've had all your vaccinations and somebody contracts COVID within your household, you don't have to isolate because you've had as long as you do your lateral flows.
Yep, that's it. They are saying it's basically we're always going to have it, but it's going to be similar to a flu, isn't it?
Yeah.
It'll get to the stage where they'll just no track it, I think.
They're winding everything down. I can see it happening with the whole COVID passport and so on and so forth. It served its purpose, but I think slowly but surely they're sort of trying to change this narrative, and they're trying to change people's psyche, because obviously people are hanging on what these people are saying day in and day out, because we've had it every single day. You think about it, every single day for the last 2 years, we've had the First Minister here and the PM down south telling us what we can and what we can't do. So it's like the narrative has changed, and it's they're sort of drifting away from it now.
Yeah. How you find it, Mark, and where you are in retail? Is it you'd said to me last week that things have really picked up, haven't they?
Aye. We came back when did we come back? April. And it's been really busy. Then we had our peak period, which was Boxing Day onwards. It went like a fair. It's still gone like a fair at the moment. So it's been really positive. But we have had issues with not being able to get the stuff in the docks and different stuff like that. So that's still a problem. It's still a problem. But no, the customers are fine with it. In terms of us in retail, we need to wear a mask. There's markings in the shop for social distancing and all the usual stuff. But it's went really well. So, because when I'm sitting in furlough, it's a disaster for me and my team, because obviously it's commission based, bonus based. There's a lot of other factors involved in it where you make that extra bit of money. And when we're locked in furlough, there's nothing to be made, because furlough had a cap. And that cap was way below what my earnings were, so I had to survive on the cap. So it was difficult at the time, but now it's a lot better. But I think, as Stuart said, that we're now coming out of it. I think all the stuff that was said about the new variant has become true, and now they're settling down to the fact that it's going to be a winter jag, I think, every year for the vulnerable. And I think, as you've said, Robert, that's it. That they're going to treat it that way. We just need to get on with it now.
So, definitely. I think you can't keep going on like this. I think it's a matter of time. It's like, well, that's just the way it is. You know, it's going to be like that. I don't know whether it's phasing itself out because we're getting more and more resilient to it. It's getting weaker and weaker, and it's trying different things to...
Yeah, the virologist did say that. I can remember it was like when the Omicron came out, Jason Leach did a whole sort of documentary, kind of sort of mini documentary on YouTube about it, saying he had studied it under a microscope, and he said that the Omicron mutation has faults and flaws in it, and it doesn't look like any other mutation that's happened before. And what usually happens with it, I'm not technical in any way in this, I'm just relaying what he said, and he's saying that every variant from that will decline. Won't ever go away. It's just one of these things that we will gain knowledge in throughout the years. It will become. Cat's just appeared right at my hello. I know it's like so. It will be with us forever, but the vaccinations will get better and better when the knowledge gets stronger and stronger. So it is what it is. We just have to open the taps and let it go, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Aye, that's it.
I mean, I was quite fortunate when it all kicked off. I was 7 weeks laid off with furlough, but that was only because the company had to obviously set up the factory to allow us to social distance for 2 meters. So we went back after the 7 weeks and basically playing catch up. We were 2.5 months behind with orders, and we've been back at work now for over a year, and we're still behind with orders. We're not 2.5 months, but we're about a month behind. But that's still quite a lot for customers that are waiting in parts to come over the door. But to let you sort of understand how busy the company is, I've worked there for 20 years. This is the first time in 20 years that they've offered us a 5% pay rise, which tells you how busy they are. They understand how hard we worked last year, because every single one of us, to a man and woman, worked every bit of overtime that was going to try and get us back on track. And that's what they've basically said. We appreciate what you did. This is the reason for the wage rise, but we need you to do it again this year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's a lot of companies like that. They've stood by us. I mean, they could quite have easily cut their workforce in half and said, listen, that is what it is, and see you later. But they didn't. They stuck by everybody and brought everyone back that they could, and we're motoring on.
The owner of the company I worked for, it was a single guy that owned it. When we went into the first lockdown, he sold it. He put it into administration and sold it.
Yeah.
And it was done straight away. It was done within half an hour. We got a call to say we were in administration. 30 minutes later, we'd been bought. So it was obviously pre-arranged.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to carry through it. So that was it.
That can be a sort of knee-jerk reaction, though, Mark, because like I'm on the committee for my bowling club. So like it's like a directorship. So basically, we know what government grants are available, and honestly, is like my bowling club's never been. My bowling club's now secure for the next 15 years with the grants that were made available to businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Business grants that have kept the UK economy together, and small businesses. It's absolutely remarkable, and in fact, the last load of grants was actually last week, which will secure us again for another 2 years. So I think it's maybe been a wee bit premature, but maybe it's been the reason that he's needed to jack it in. He's maybe been thinking about it for a wee time.
Well, the guy was a millionaire, so he's probably sitting on a beach somewhere.
No doubt.
Enjoying himself.
I mean, there's a good chance he's probably just thought that it's going to be. I'm going to, sell it now. This has been mentioned years past, or he keeps getting approached to sell it, and I think it's been one of the things where this could, bankrupt the business. So I'm getting shot at.
Probably was.
Yeah.
His accountants maybe made the decision.
Aye. Well, that's what it all comes down to, doesn't it? So it comes down to the money, man. Yes. So what's the plans for the future? And we'll get off of the COVID scenario.
It always ends up in bloody COVID, isn't it?
I know, but it's been such a pain in the ass for 2 years.
It has been. It's been a bugbear, but
it's been a fucking nightmare.
I know. Well, I've obviously got. We've got the guys coming up down south, so that'll be a couple of days out. I think for me anyway, the plans to try and maybe do a couple of days with Rev Bomb and Andy and stuff.
Yeah,
and I think they are planning for us to be in the area roughly on a weekend, so maybe like a Saturday Sunday or a Friday Saturday or something. Yeah. So we'll find out exactly when the dates are and where they're going to be, and I'm hoping to maybe try and squeeze a day or two in with them.
We can go up and terrorise them.
Aye, absolutely. Yeah. Take them down a wee back track somewhere, and
take them up
to that tree.
Take them right up the Dunmalley Pass.
That's it. Like that. See, remember that tree? Remember we did that with that boy for Ireland? Remember we took him up there. But I think that's there's that, and then I definitely want to do Skye again.
Mhm.
That's without a doubt.
That's
That was
on my radar this
that
year.
was a great
No,
overnight that we did, and we'd left on the Friday, stayed there on the Friday night, and came back on the Saturday, and that was a brilliant route. I think
Yeah.
we probably left a wee bit late. We didn't leave till about 10 o'clock that morning. I think if we'd left at 9, we'd have been able to do the Quarrying Pass on the Friday on the way to the digs. But because we're running late, we just went straight to the digs, and we did it in the morning, and it was really misty. You couldn't really see the tops because of the mist.
Yeah.
So I think if we're going to do it again, we would try and do that on the first day. But you can, I mean, you can do Skye in an overnight. It's still a trek, but it's still really good. So that's a definite. Probably just stay at the cowshed again, because that was a 26 quid or something for the night. And if you've
Right.
got 6 or 8 of yous going and you book it early enough, we're all in the same dorm, so it's ideal. And for that kind
Right.
of price, you can buy beer for them. So they've got fridges where you can go and you can buy booze off of them and just sit out in the main sitting area and drink that. And there's a nice wee pub down the road, a couple of pubs to go and get food. So it's perfect just for
Sounds
a
brilliant.
couple of days away.
Aye.
Right,
So
sounds
that's
brilliant.
definitely happening, and hopefully we can. Well, we've definitely got the Wild Bad Weekend at the end of July. I think.
Oh,
Bex is
by the
going to
way,
that as
mate,
well.
that's all confirmed. So
Oh, it's definite.
I am gone, mate.
Okay, that's fine. That's good. So we're going. I think Bex is going down as well. I think she's got to try and get some of her pals to go, and that's that for July. But I don't think there's anything else. And she wants to go to Skye as well. So, do you know mind being in a dorm with a load of guys, Bex?
Oh, maybe that was too quick a thumbs up. I'm not sure.
Sorted.
There's
So
Grant.
yeah, so that's good.
Looks like Grant's maybe being
Aye.
as well.
Honestly, mate, it was a
Aye.
brilliant couple of days, and it's only you're needing 2 days. That's it. One night, one overnight stay in 2 days, and for most of the spouses, you can get away with that.
There's your answer.
It's like Andy's put up the dates. We'll be in Scotland on the Friday the 10th, Saturday, Sunday with us, and then on to the North Coast 500.
Aye, 10th of June, Friday, 10th of June.
So that's.
I'll think me that weekend as well, mate. No, I can
Aye.
do that. So I'll
So
put
I'm
that
gonna-
I'll put the dates in as well.
I've
Andy,
actually got.
just. On you go, sorry.
No, I was going to.
Right, you go.
No, you go.
You go. You're bigger than me. You go.
I was going to. It's like I've actually got a holiday booked for April, but I'm going to change it. My work, I can't take sort of days off here and there. Although the day that I took off on Friday there wasn't a holiday as such. There was another reason for it.
Right.
So I'm going to change that April holiday so that I can take it from the Wednesday to the following week. So it takes in the whole weekend. So guaranteed to get that off.
Coolio. Well, that's Andy. Let us know where you're staying so we can maybe see if we can, budge along with us.
Starting the NC 500.
On the Monday, yeah.
Yep. So I can take that. I can book that weekend. Well, I can take it as my days off, so I can start doing stuff like that, which is a big difference for me.
Yep.
Stuart, what you get planned? Come on, tell us the details.
Basically, ride more.
Is that the bike?
I was the president of the Johnson and District Bowling Club Bowling Association last year, so I had quite a lot of bowling duties throughout the seasons. So that basically takes in from April to September at least one day of the weekend every day over the April to September season for the bowling season, and midweek as well. It's a massive commitment, but I don't have that this year. I still will be bowling, but I'll be bowling at my own club, so the commitment level is far less. So I'm just going to go out and ride my bike, put as many miles on it as I can, Where I end up, who knows? I've not planned anything. I'm not a planner. I wouldn't turn around and say I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, because if I've learned anything in life, certainly in my life, it's like the best laid plans. They just never comes to fruition that way. So I tend to sort of wing it.
Yeah.
That's the best way sometimes. So we're at 10 to 10, so we'll call it a night, because I just wanted a gentle introduction into it again. So for anybody that's watching, Rev Bomb and such has all jumped in the night. I didn't open up to jump in the night because I wanted an easy night, to be honest. And I couldn't be doing with 6-7 people on the live stream. But next time I'm going to open it up. I want to personally thank Stuart Zethead and Robert Lockwood for jumping on tonight.
You're more than welcome, buddy.
It's been really good. And really, for the last 5-10 minutes, is just open it up to you guys if there's anything you want to talk about or anything you want to say, and we'll take it from there, and then we'll end it. We've still got 13 people watching. It was up at 24 at one point.
So that's good going for your first one back, buddy. Well done.
It's been a productive live stream, for want of a better word. So who wants to start first? I'll know do a Rev Bomb and just dump you right in it. Who wants to go first?
There's Robert. Robert will start.
Right. All I'd want to say, I'm just going to plug Tuesday. So I've got a premiere on Tuesday because it's Robbie Burns night, and I was at Aviemore. No, I was at Alloway even last week, and I went round about the Old Kirk and the Cottage and the Brigadier, and I've done a wee kind of stupid video on it just to kind of commemorate Robbie. So that's on Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. So I'll be sitting on that, and throw me all your pelters, and I'll throw some pelters back maybe. I'm not going to do a John Die-Hard McClane and do a premiere and just no appear.
Exactly. That's a valid point, by the way.
I'll be there and I'll be sitting in on it, watching it with you. So if you can, it's quite a long one. It's 25 minutes, but I think you'll enjoy it, especially the second half. So if you can, come and do that. And yes, that's me. I'm over 500 now, so that's good. I think I'm at
congratulations on that.
That's well done.
It's well done.
So that's been great. And 100 videos that's up, and it's all just kind of happened all roughly at that time. But no, I'm happy with that. But yeah, that's me. So it's you now.
Thanks very much. Well, my subscriber numbers have been going up and down like a tart's knickers, so thanks YouTube for that. I keep on hanging about the same sort of level. There'll be a video up soon about me breaking the foot peg and installing the carbon fibre parts. I've also got like an unboxing video coming up once the package that I was talking to Lockwood about gets delivered eventually. I can do an unboxing of that as well. But listen, if you've got a bike, just get out there and ride it. Enjoy yourself. Well, I hope to see you on the tarmac. So
yes,
excellent. And from me, again, thanks to Stuart and Robert for the support tonight on the live stream. Really enjoyed it tonight. It's been great fun. Next live stream, I'll open up to anybody that wants to jump on with us. I don't know if you two guys will make it the next one, but we'll see a couple of weeks. I'm not going to do it weekly. I'm not sure about weekly. So,
what are you thinking? Are you thinking still the Sunday night, or because I know you put a question up there of whether when would be the best time to do it? Are you still thinking Sunday night?
Well, I was thinking, Saturday and Sunday were tied at 43%. I think Sunday's probably a better night for people, but I could do another poll to see if the next one's going to be a Saturday or Sunday. But I'll let you know. I don't think I'll do one weekly, to be honest. I might do it fortnightly, and we'll take it from there. But I'll let you know in advance what night.
Saturday's probably less condensed than Friday. Friday's a nightmare.
No, I'm not going to do Friday.
Friday's like prime time.
Yeah.
Aye, I'm not going to do Friday.
Saturdays are a bit less condensed. Sunday is a good time to do it. It's like if people are chilling out, just getting ready to go to work. And
I see Exeter Rider. He does one on a Sunday. He's done one at the same time as us. The night I noticed, I seen a wee notification coming up earlier before we came on. But I think he maybe does one once a month or something, or something like that. It's no that, you know.
They're not as important because the weather's been okay. These are probably more important if the weather's poor.
Yeah,
and there's plenty to discuss. But right, I'll keep these up to date with that. And for the FZ1 question for everybody that I put out there in my videos, I'm going to keep it at least for the next season. I maybe titivate it a wee bit and do some stuff to it. I'm getting it remapped just to calm that map down. That's definitely happening. In terms of for the rest of the year, I'm planning wheelie school. Obviously, I want to get involved in the camping. I've got the Wild Bad weekend with Robert and whoever else is coming along, which I'm looking forward to in July. And like Stuart said, get out as much as I can on the bike and enjoy it. Use the 360 and see what comes next with that. So, it's been a great night. Aye, exactly, mate. It's all right. I'll just ship it. I'll bring it here to you. Now I know where you stay. I'll be outside your window.
Can I get a shot on your bike?
Aye, exactly. You'll be in your bed at night and the next thing your garage door will open. And I'll be running down the street with a bike. I'm away with this bike. But it's been a fantastic night. Thanks to everybody who's joined us.
Brilliant, man.
And I'll catch you all soon. Did I hit the button? End the broadcast? Yep. See you all later.
All the best.